My name is Annabelle Jones, and I'm doing my presentation on WALL-E. The director of WALL-E is Andrew Stanton, who also directed the very successful films of Toy Story, Finding Nemo, and Cars, which were all Pixar films as well. The basic plot of WALL-E is that the Waste Allocative Load Lifter Earth-class robots, which stands for WALL-E, are on Earth to clean up all of the trash so that when the people go to the Axiom, they can wait until the Earth is completely cleaned up so that they can come back. However, WALL-E ends up being the only robot who's cleaning up the Earth left, and he meets Eve, which stands for Extraterrestrial Vegetation Evaluator. And so she's trying to find the last sign of life on Earth so that the humans can come back to Earth. And basically, WALL-E falls in love with Eve and follows her to the Axiom, where we meet the people who have left Earth. And they're basically fat and ignorant and slaves to the robots that are taking care of them. And WALL-E and Eve are sent on this big quest to send the humans back to their home, and that's the gist of WALL-E. The biggest effect that was in WALL-E is the visual aspects of it. From the very beginning, the very beginning scene on Earth, it shows this trashed Earth life, and it's basically towers and towers of trash that look like a Minecraft game. And it's very realistic, and it looks really amazing on screen. And also the very intricate details of the robots themselves, it makes the film completely breathtaking, just watching the movements of them. And the looks of the Macintosh Eve look and the rusty PC look of WALL-E. And then when you get to the Axiom, you see the humans are fat and lazy, and it's the visualization of the futuristic land where they have holograms and they're on chairs that take them everywhere, and the ship itself, it looks amazing and very believable. And then my favorite part visually is when WALL-E goes from Earth to the Axiom, because you see you see different planets and the stars, and I think this is one of the rings of Saturn that WALL-E decides to touch, and it's very beautiful and breathtaking as you go through that part of the film. The next part that they did really well was characterization. The characterization of WALL-E is my favorite because his personality sticks out than any other robot. He's down on Earth and looking at different things on Earth, like a Rubik's Cube or a bra that he picks up that he doesn't know what it is, or just random things on Earth like a light bulb, and then ultimately the plant that he finds that he is so interested in, and you can see his curiosity and his longing to be with another robot or another person. And that's when Eve comes in, and his personality is even bigger with her because he's trying to impress her, and you can see that. And it's all done through live action. The first 40 minutes of the film are completely live action. That means that there's no human dialogue until 40 minutes. And when you hear that, you're like, that sounds a little boring. But actually, it's amazing because of WALL-E's personality and the cute little things that he does, and just the ride from the Earth to the Axiom. It's just beautiful. So it makes it very entertaining, and it keeps you hooked from the beginning. And then the characterization that I also loved was the robots versus the humans. Basically, it shows how robots have more personality than the actual humans do, because they're fat and they're lazy and they're ignorant and numb to the life that their ancestors had, and they have no idea what Earth is. My favorite line in the movie is, "Computer, what is Earth?" So that's when the captain asks the computer, like, what's Earth? And I think that's hilarious because that kind of just sums up the lives of the humans. And then, so that I thought that was done very well. So But what went wrong in the film? So there are three things that I thought of, which is not very much, which is a good thing. So why is Wally alone? I feel like that's a question they don't answer at all throughout the whole film. It's at the very beginning you see him going along and he's with a cockroach, but why is he the last robot left? He's the only Wally one. You see other Wally robots, but they're all broken down. So why is he the only one left? Is it because he's curious or whatever? That's never answered. And then the next part is the non-animation. This is kind of based off of preference, but basically they go from non-animation to animation in this film at certain parts. When they're going from one captain to another, they slowly get more animated. And so, I think it's a really cool idea. I just don't think it actually worked in the film. And when they also had parts of clips where the president is an actual human being and not an animation, and he's like talking to the future captain. And I thought that was a cool idea, but it doesn't really answer like, oh, so in the future we randomly become animated objects? That didn't really make sense to me. And then the last part is the cliche theme. The whole movie is basically a cliche of the protagonist going from this low-life society or a lone society and finds the girl and goes on this big quest, and in the end he gets the girl. So it's the cliche theme that you see in multiple films, but I think it's done so well that you can look past that whole thing. So in conclusion, even though Wall-E has a few questions and has this cliche theme, in the end it's a great film that is visually beautiful and the characterizations are pretty solid, and it's just really entertaining for children and adults to watch, and it's just a great film overall. That's it.